What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Opendoor. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down what's really moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So it is pulling back down 11.32%, 188 the low, 229 the high. So you are seeing a lot of volatility, but then again, the broader market, most of it is selling off. A lot of fear starting to rise because of companies' earnings, not necessarily data points or anything, but today you are seeing a lot of volume. So 215 million shares being traded, 271 is the average. No official news from Opendoor, no SEC filings. So right now, the next big thing is just getting that rubber stamp from the NASDAQ. It is still on the deficiency list on the NASDAQ's website. So you can kind of see the initial notice, which was on May the 28th, 2025 for the bid price. So again, when it comes down to the bid price, there is kind of a gray area. And so of course I have brought up more common than not around the 10 consecutive days. So today does mark the 11th consecutive day above $1. And so you can kind of see based on the terminology, so it does show as a minimum 10 business days and a potential high of 20 business days. And I just wanted to kind of break that down. So this is essentially the NASDAQ trying to protect shareholders and also the general public. So this is why they do that spectrum from 10 to 20, depending on how risky they do feel Opendoor is to the public. So are they going to kind of manipulate it down? What is some of the factors that led to them potentially becoming deficient? They look at all that, and given the potential what did happen, which in my opinion just a lot of fundamental mistakes operationally and just a lot of manipulation coming from shorts, they would be leaning more towards the 10. So like I said, potentially today or even tomorrow, we should theoretically be getting the rubber stamp from the NASDAQ, but technically the NASDAQ does have discretion to potentially move it to 20. So regardless, today is day number 11. That's what ultimately retail and institutions are waiting for. And I think while we wait, shorts are doing their thing. So right now at the time of doing this video, shorts are increasing 4.1 million shares. 32.96% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 215.96 million shares overall are being shorted. At the peak, what caused it to get down to that $1.88 is shorts essentially increasing around 13.9 million shares. So that's what ultimately did hit it hard, and now they are starting to return, and so that's why they're only increasing now 4 million. So by them returning, they're actually helping kind of push the price higher a little bit. So at the end of the day, I think once Opendoor does get the rubber stamp from the NASDAQ, that will cause a very significant push higher. That's just my own opinion. I could be wrong. Let me know your general thoughts on that in the comments below. Moving over to the options, we are seeing 11 million in calls, 6.01 million in puts. 47% of all the options being done are bullish in nature. So there's a certain level of optimism that Opendoor is going to recover. As far as how high, we can kind of look here. It looks like right now for face value, it's kind of anticipated to be roughly around that 3. But you kind of have pockets as high as roughly $5. So that's kind of the spectrum of optimism right now. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub roughly $1.50 to $2 for this week. So the bears are anticipating for Opendoor to continue to pull lower and lower. So you kind of have it right now with that 210 kind of stuck in the middle a little bit. But these are all the transactions occurring on the dark pool above $100,000. So a lot of big transactions as per usual. So hedge funds as well as shorts like to use this. So there is quite a few big transactions even right here between, it looks like 1135 and 1136. There was a 3.01, 1.5, 1.5, and also a $2.02 million transaction. So clearly, in my opinion, that is short. And it's kind of roughly around that time period where they did start to return. So again, everything is correlated if you kind of look at the data behind the scenes. But even looking on the secondary market, these are all the transactions occurring for the smaller fish. So of that, you do see a lot of buys. So 3 sells, 113, 120, and then also 169,000. Aside from that, everything else is buys. So again, definitely good to see. based on this, with it at 209, is right above this S1. So 207 on a technical standpoint is going to be a strong support and also a key pivot. So best case scenario, it does close above that 203, putting it between this pivot and this S1. So 319 will be the next strong target size resistance, followed by 430. That's if you obviously believe a squeeze is still on the table. Flip side, 207 and then 138 is going to be those strong support levels. But aside from that though, there isn't any new analyst ratings, no actual articles really coming out about it. One thing I do want to bring up though is that there is 0 available shares to short. So this is why a lot of people are saying that Opendoor is kind of a squeeze play. And potentially though, to free up and get some more available shares, you might see some buying coming from big money to lend out. That's what commonly does happen with BlackRock and Vanguard. They love to buy stocks just to lend out. So again, that could potentially be happening in the next little bit. And I guess aside from all that, potentially their earnings on the 5th will be that next big catalyst. But because of all the recent volatility, you do see it based on the stochastic RSI very oversold. So let me know your thoughts on Opendoor. Do you still believe it is a squeeze play? Do you think it's a meme? I know that was kind of a debate going back and forth, but do you think it is a good fundamental company, or do you think it's just going to slowly pull back down to kind of that $1 range? So let me know your general thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.